Okay, I had a problem with my original screen recording for this video and that the audio didn't pick up. So I'm re-recording the audio while I'm playing the video on my screen watching it, and then I'll merge the two together. So there might be some pauses where I'm not really sure what I was talking about in the original video. Um, I have no way of going back and figuring that out, so we're gonna kind of muddle through this the best we can um, to get you to finished up with your drawing. I do want to say one thing. If you'll notice in AutoCAD, I've got two files open. One is called the 2017 Floor Plan Final, and the other is just called Floor Plan Final. There are slight differences between the two projects. Okay, most notably the bathroom sizes and the rooms adjoining the bathrooms, and possibly the wall thicknesses of the plumbing walls. Um, the original one, the floor plan final, was from a course a year ago, and I tweaked the course materials a little bit for 2017. So when I'm toggling back and forth between those files, you may notice a few differences, okay, especially in your dimensions when you go to uh, fully dimension your drawing compared to what it says in the floor plan final drawing. Okay, so don't get too confused by that. All right, um, that's what your finished drawing should look like, but your dimensions should be according to the 2017 plan that we had going. All right, so I'm going to start playing my video and do the best I can to um, talk you through this. Okay. Um. All right. So just picking up from the previous video, you can see what we've got done there. I'm waiting for the mouse to move. All right. Because I was talking a lot through there. I know. Um, let's see, the yellow construction line at the top on the outside, that's at like 2'6" out. And that's for my first, yeah, window tags lined up. Okay. That construction line right there, that's at 2'6" out from the wall. And that's kind of a good location to place your first dimension because it's outside of um, the lines down below at the bottom. You may have to make it 3 foot because your text is on the inside. So you may have to kind of adjust that a little bit. Let's see what it comes up to here. 2'2". That's a little close, but I would probably pull those out a little bit more. All right. Make sure you're using the annotative dimension style. And we're going to go a linear dimension from the corner of the wall to the center of the first window. I'll pull it out and place it on that construction line. And then I change over to my continue dimension and then go ahead and snap down that wall. You can pick up the back door. I skipped it here in the video. And then all of the windows. Down to the end of the wall. And make sure it snaps to the wall, the end of the line, and not the node for the other dimension. Now, now you notice the extension lines go through the window tag. So what we're going to do, we're going to select all those dimensions and go to properties. Okay. Oh yeah, I can't do a boundary box. I have to go back and pick them because I guess I picked up the tags. All right. And then we're going to go down to extension line offset, and we're going to change that from the normal 1/16. Let's change it to a 1/2 inch and see how that looks. Okay, so I didn't like a 1/2 inch, so I changed it back to 3/8. Almost like that, so we'll go with 3/8 of an inch there. And on the sides, it may be a little different because you've got the corner of the hexagon that you're dealing with. Now we'll come back and we'll apply an overall dimension going across there, and we want to pull it out, uh, you know, a little bit further, further out so you can read the text easily. And I just flipped over to paper space to see how everything looks there in paper space. Okay, and you notice that cleared up that big gap we had at the end when I applied the overall dimension out there. Okay, whichever layer you use for your construction lines, whether it be the zero layer or the A grid layer or something like that, or if you created one, you can turn that off to see how it looks. Okay. All right, we're looking at textile. We need an annotative textile called room name, and if it's not set up in your file, go ahead and set it up according to these settings. And we're going to set that current, and we're going to we'll put the room names in, and I'm going to show you how to do one of them down here. Okay, so you'll put it in. You can put the size down below it also, uh, and just measure the room, from wall to wall. And if you come up with a fraction of an inch, just round it up to the nearest inch, as you can see in the textbook as to how those are done. Okay, so I would typically do one and get it set looking right, and then I copy it to each of the rooms and then go back in and edit it. Okay. Now, when we need to do the porch, you can copy one down there, and we need to trim out the lines that go around it. So there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can do it in the text settings, but usually the easiest way is just get it placed where you want it and draw a box around it and then trim out the lines and then delete the box. That's the easiest way to do it, because since we're just working here in AutoCAD 2D. Okay, so you're going to place room names on all your major rooms, like it shows in the textbook. Okay, so here is my the old drawing that I had, but you need to add an entry arrow. We typically place an arrow at the front entry, and I just used a polyline and drew 1/2 of the arrow, and then mirrored it so that it's identical on both sides, and then filled it with a solid hatch. Okay, and here in just a moment, okay, I'm showing you the sizes. It doesn't have to be exact. Just make it something close to this, 1'8", 2'5", 2'6", something that's obvious to see, and then place it by the front entryway. And you can see down there on the porch name where it's trimmed out around there. And here's where I was saying some of your dimensions and room sizes may be a little different than what was shown on that floor plan final drawing. Okay, and so once you get all your dimensions in, uh, see how it looks in paper space. Make sure you're centered up, that your scale is set correctly, and lock your viewport. And then come down and just click in the different fields and edit that information. The dates there should generate automatically, and your file name. You may have to change your username and the drawn by stuff, but those things in gray should come in from your drawing properties. Where it says edit or edit line, those you would double click and go in and edit those things. Okay, now once again, this is not what your final dimensioning should look like. It should look like what's given in the textbook, because in this drawing, I was just giving you the basics on how to do some of the different things. So yours should look